The Miami Heat have lost their third game in a row, this time falling to the Washington Wizards. I'll break down what happened in this game for the Miami Heat on this episode of Heat Digest, where we create daily Miami Heat content. So if that interests you, subscribe to the channel, as 86% of you guys currently watching this are not currently subscribed. We appreciate all your support. Now let's break down this horrific loss to the Washington Wizards. I am almost speechless, to say the least, about this Miami Heat performance. It's abysmal from the Miami Heat for them to lose not only their third game in a row, but this time to the hands of the Washington Wizards. Just for some clarity, some context, the Washington Wizards with this win are now 11-53 on the year. Yes, 11 wins and 53 losses on the year for the Washington Wizards, gaining their 11th win of the season against our Miami Heat, who now fall to 35-29. And it's not great. It really is not great for the Miami Heat. We dropped to the 8th seed. We've lost 3 in a row to Dallas, Oklahoma City, and now the Washington Wizards. For the idea that we've lost to the Dallas Mavericks, a legitimate contender sitting in the 7-10 range out in the Western Conference. Not a crazy loss, especially for a Miami Heat team who was in the 6th seed in the Eastern Conference, battling to gain those spots out east. And then we go into Oklahoma City, another very good team in the top part of the Western Conference, in the top 3 seeds, if you will. It's always interchanging, as those top 3-4 seeds are only a game or two out from each other. But again, Oklahoma City, it was another competitive game for the Miami Heat. We lost late. We couldn't stop SGA like everyone else in the NBA, as he is a certified walking bucket. And then we come home. We come home for the first time in 3 games, and we host the Washington Wizards, who were the first team eliminated from the playoffs this season. Only the San Antonio Spurs have joined them as of late, being eliminated from the playoffs with roughly 20 to 25 games left in the season. Not a team we should be losing to, especially in the race out east that we're currently in. With a third consecutive loss, we are below the Indiana Pacers, who we were just sitting ahead of. We are 14 and a half games back from the first place Boston Celtics, who are sitting comfortably 8 games ahead of the second-ranked team, Cleveland Cavaliers, who are sitting at 49-14. That is Boston. And again, the Miami Heat, 14 and a half games back, dropping another game, 35-29 on the season. The 76ers, who are currently the 6th seed, half game ahead of us, are currently hosting the New York Knicks. This is a crazy game for the Eastern Conference standings. Can't wait to see how that plays out. It is currently live, and it is 70-63 in favor of Philadelphia. Very low-scoring game as they are in the fourth quarter. But once again, we're focused on the Miami Heat game, as we've lost again, and this time to a team that we have no business losing to. We gave up 32 points to Kyle Kuzma, who shot 9 of 23 from the field. He did shoot 16 free throws, which cannot happen. That is not the box score. Here's the box score for the Miami Heat. Duncan Robinson could not buy a basket tonight. 5 of 16 from the field, 4 of 13 from behind the three-point line, 16 points, 2 rebounds, and 1 assist. He was on a very hot streak for those games, and for the last few games. He cooled off against Dallas. He really cooled off against OKC, and now it seems like he's in a bit of a hole. That is Duncan Robinson, as he had a plus-minus of -11 tonight with horrific shooting percentages, not just from the field, but the three-point line. And down the stretch, he did miss 3 very, very crucial three-point shots that not only could have cut the lead to 2, but then to take the lead and even to win the game, it seems like, to put us ahead very late in this game. He missed 2 go-ahead three-point shots. For the rest of the team, Jimmy Butler, 9 of 20 from the field. He missed all 4 of his his three-point shots. He had 23 points, 4 assists, and 3 rebounds with a steal and a block. Plus-minus of even. He was 0 plus-minus on the night. Not great from Jimmy Butler, as it seems like if you were watching this game, especially down the stretch of that third and fourth quarter, it just feels like we need Jimmy to score 30. When we don't have Tyler Hero, and we don't have Kevin Love as another big body to put next to Bam Adebayo or to replace Bam Adebayo with in these games, it feels like we need 30 from Jimmy Butler. It really does. And I know Houston, he had 23. He made 5 of 6 free throws. He shot 45% from the field. It's not going to get the job done. Also, the shots that he's not making, the times that he's not producing baskets, it's the Miami Heat offense goes in these flat periods, and you've heard me say this before, where they go flat, they go stagnant, everything stalls out for the Miami Heat on the offensive end, and it's true. It seems like before the All-Star break, we're going through these lapses, and we're in competitive games, but we'd go through these lapses, and we'd have stalled out offenses, or offensive possessions, where things just didn't work for the Miami Heat. We went on that big tear where we were winning the majority of our games. It seemed like we were in a roll. We went into the All-Star break. We come out. We win 5 in a row. And then we go up and down. We're on this shoots and ladders type of course. I got something in my eye. But it's ridiculous. It really is. And we go stagnant. It seems like we need someone to pick us up. And we've been without Tyler Hero, who's a legit scoring option on our team. If not the 1B, he's the second option behind Jimmy Butler. But without Tyler Hero, we desperately need someone like Jimmy Butler to be able to give us 30 points. And now we can't ignore the other players we have on this team, like Bam Adebayo, who played horrifically last night, or 2 nights ago, against the Oklahoma City Thunder. He bounced back. He had a big game, a big all-around game, if you will, as he had 16 points. He did shoot 50% from the field. He had 16 rebounds, 9 of them coming in the first half, 10 of them in the first half, 8 of them in the first quarter. He added 2 assists, 2 steals, and a block, plus minus of -9. He did shoot 2 of 6 from the free throw line. He's not a bad free throw shooter, but tonight he simply did not have it. And then Terry Rozier, he's slowly but surely finding his way on this team, being more and more consistent and more of an all-around performance from him night in and night out. 50% from the field tonight, 8 of 16. He did miss all 3 of his three-point shots, which we'll get to in just a minute. 0 of 3, 16 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 steals for Terry Rozier again tonight. And then for the bench, a lot of consistent play from really everyone that we saw tonight. Haywood Highsmith, 1 shot in 5 minutes. It was a 3-point shot. He did make it. For Caleb Martin, 11 points, 7 assists, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, a steal, and a block, plus minus of +3. One of the few players on this team to have a plus minus of a positive number, +3 for him tonight. 4 of 9 from the field, 3 of 3 from behind the 3-point line, and he was in the game down the stretch. And I want to highlight this now before I pull up the team stats. When we run this lineup of Butler, Robinson, Adebayo, Caleb Martin, and Terry Rozier, we are very, very small, and we cannot get this twisted. You've heard me ring the bell for another big man to be brought into the Miami Heat organization, especially now as Kevin Love has been sidelined with the heel injury as of late. We are desperately needing, and even when he is active and present on the floor, he is never really paired next to someone like Bam Adebayo. So we are running a significantly small lineup, especially when it's Bam, Caleb Martin, and Jimmy Butler rounding out the forward and center positions. And tonight it was felt very, very much, especially down the stretch. In the late in the fourth quarter, we saw Kyle Kuzma he traveled. They got the ball back after we were able to score when we were down 8 at one point, 110 to 102. He came down, he traveled, we got the ball back, we were able to score. They came back down the floor. They missed a shot, and they were able to get an offensive rebound due to the switching that they had, forcing Kyle Kuzma to be guarded by Duncan Robinson. He was able to get a rebound, his own miss, and he then made a very airheaded play, if you will. Airheaded, just the first thing I thought of. He took a floater. He could have backed it out, ran a excess of time off the clock, leaving us with little to no time to really make an effort to cut into that 6-point lead at the time. He did miss the floater. We were able to come back down the floor, make another basket, cut the lead to 4. But even then, the size discrepancy and the rebounding insufficiencies of the Miami Heat were felt greatly. Now, I say that, and then I pull up the team stats, and it's nothing like the Dallas game or the Oklahoma City game, for the fact that if we look at these team stats, the Miami Heat won the rebounding battle, and they won it large, 51-40 on the rebounding battle in favor of the Miami Heat. If you look at the offensive rebounds, 16-6 in favor of the offensive rebounding in favor of the Miami Heat. This is what I was saying when I was speechless when I first started this video. I am speechless. How do we win the rebounding battle by 11 rebounds? 10 of them on the offensive side of things. On the offensive glass, we win the game by 11 rebounds. By 10 rebounds. And we are incapable of winning a game against a team, and I'm sorry to say this, as horrible as the Washington Wizards. Yes, it is a real basketball team in the National Basketball Association. association with real basketball players who will bust my ass every time we play. But for the Miami Heat team, for this Miami Heat team, there is no excuse to lose a team to a team that has no playoff implications, as they've already been eliminated in the first week of March, or it's now going into the second week of March, as we are March 10th currently. There's no reason we should be losing this game. We won the points in the paint battle. We got abused when it came to the assist battle, 35-20 in favor of Washington. We don't ever see teams beat the Miami Heat in the assist battle like this. Out-assisted us by 15. And then for the shooting percentages is the last thing I really want to highlight here, as we missed 6 free throws in a 2-point game, a 1-possession game. 12 out of 18 free throws were made. That is less than 70%. That is never going to get the job done. And then finally, the 3-point percentages, 10 out of 30% from the Miami Heat tonight against the Washington Wizards. The Washington Wizards had 5 made threes in the fourth quarter alone. That is half of the 3-point shots we made for the game they had in 1 quarter of basketball. Absolutely abysmal watch to this game. It just, I don't even know what to say. An absolutely horrific game from the Miami Heat in a game where we should have dominated. We should have dominated a team as bad as the Washington Wizards. Only with this win, they move ahead of the Detroit Pistons in the Eastern Conference race. It does not matter, as they're battling the Detroit Pistons not to come in last place. That's really all they're fighting for this season. But again, a win would have went a long way, as the 7th and 6th seeds are only half a game ahead of us. And then the 5 seed, the Orlando Magic, an in-division rival, is just a game and a half now ahead of us, as well as the 4th seed, 2.5 games ahead of us. The Miami Heat had a real opportunity before this 3-game slide to really make an effort and make a push to go and climb these Eastern Conference standings. And with these 3 consecutive losses, yes, we lost to a good Dallas Mavericks team and then a good Oklahoma City Thunder team. But there is no excuse to lose to a team such as the Washington Wizards, especially in the playoff race you are currently in Miami. These are our next 5 games for the Miami Heat. We host the Denver Nuggets, who we've played once this year. Obviously, we played them last year in the NBA championship. This is going to be a hell of a game. We need all of the energy we can. We need a great defensive effort from the first quarter until the fourth quarter, and we cannot come out flat in the third quarter like we have so many times this year, especially in the last 3 consecutive games for the Miami Heat. And finally, then we go to Detroit. We are on a 4-game road stand, and we start with 2 games in Detroit. If we lose these games in Detroit, I will lose my mind. I might actually not be capable of doing another video, because I will fall over and it'll be it. I will retire. I can't do it. There's no way. We should win both of these games, and it shouldn't be close. We should come out and play with an edge due to the fact that we just got embarrassed to the Washington Wizards. That should carry over to the to the Denver game and then the Detroit game. After those 2 games in Detroit, we go to Philadelphia, who again has no Joel Embiid, is in a Eastern Conference race with us, as they're half a game ahead of us. And then finally at Cleveland, who is sitting in the 2nd spot out in the Eastern Conference. Again, 6.5 games ahead of us. So the main focus is on to the next one. We play Denver. We have to play with a lot of energy, and we cannot take a quarter off. And then we go to Detroit for 2 games, and we should really try to flip the page, get to the right page, and get off on the right foot and dominate these games and try to set us up to go on a winning streak here and make a push for the 5 or 6 seed in the Eastern Conference. That'll be it for this recap of the Washington Wizards and the Miami Heat game as they fall. The Miami Heat fall to the Washington Wizards 110-108. Thanks for watching this episode of Heat Digest. I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.